Thank you, Mr. Panda, for talking to the week.
Thank you.
So the campaign for Delhi elections are heating up. So I have a few questions for you. So the BJP has an out of power in Delhi since 1998. Will that jinx be broken this time? What issues are you flagging during these polls?
This time, the BJP will comfortably form the government. And the main reason for that is that the people of Delhi have made up their minds. They have endured this, not AAP, but Aapda, which is Hindi for disaster, for the last 10 years. They've had to listen to the same fake promises about cleaning the Yamuna, about tackling pollution. Even poor people today in Delhi are forced to buy water from tankers and in bottles because the water that the Delhi Jal Board supplies is so bad it will give you typhoid. That's because of the corruption in the Delhi Jal Board. It's not submitted an audit in the last 7 years. And I can go on and on and on. People are seeing the development of India. It's become the 5th largest economy in the world. Other states are developing rapidly. And the capital of India does not look like the capital of the world's 5th largest economy. It has seen no infrastructure development by the state government in 10 years. It has seen deterioration of traffic, of roads, of health and education services. I can just go on and on. This time, our interaction with the people is very, very encouraging. We are very sure that the people of Delhi have made up their mind to bless the BJP, give us their Ashirwad, to relieve themselves of this Aapda, this disaster, and have a conflict-free government in Delhi, double-engine government, and they look forward to the development which has been stopped for a long time.
As we've seen, the BJP makes impressive victories during the Lok Sabha, but this is not the case during the assembly elections. So what do you think is the reasons in the past 3 elections the results have been different?
You're quite right. The BJP in Delhi, when in the Lok Sabha elections, wins well over 51% of the votes, and we win all the Lok Sabha seats in Delhi in the last 3 elections in 10 years. Of course, one of the big factors is the enormous popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's not just the most popular leader in India. Survey after survey after survey shows him to be by far the most popular leader anywhere in the world. So we benefit from that. But there's more to it than that. If you look at trends across the country, this is more or less the same trend everywhere. But in many states, we have seen the increasing BJP vote share. And while earlier it was only in the Lok Sabha that we used to get more than 51%, but even in the state elections, in many states, we have started getting more than 51% of the votes. Here I want to make a point. We've been winning all the seats in Delhi in the Lok Sabha, even when the opposition has combined, or when they fight separately. So that doesn't seem to make any difference. Now, even in Delhi, our vote share has been increasing dramatically. So traditionally, we used to get only 1/3 of the votes and still form the government back in the 80s and 90s. But over the course of the last decade, our vote share in Delhi has gone up to 40% and above. And now recently, with this huge anti-incumbency against the Aapda, our vote share has now gone up, which we now expect will be more than historically we have ever achieved, and we'll form the government. There has also been a boost recently. You've seen we won states that no one expected us to win, whether it was Chhattisgarh or Odisha or Haryana or Maharashtra. And that has created a sense that Delhi is being deprived from the double-engine governance. In other parts of the country, even non-BJP governments are adopting many of the Modi government's schemes. It's only in Delhi that there is this conflict and lack of development because of the attitude of the Aapda.
So your opponent has an advantage of a CM phase, but the BJP has not declared one.
Actually, it's just the opposite. The so-called CM phase had to resign because he was arrested for a major scam. The CAG has given its report of more than 2,000 crores scam. This involves the liquor scam and many other scams, the classroom scam. Now, the conditions on which he has got bail after many months, the Supreme Court conditions prevent him from becoming a chief minister. He is not allowed to go into the chief minister's office so as not to bring wrong influence on decisions. He is not allowed to sign files. So they have a challenge really, because the AAP leader has insulted his own chief minister, who happens to be a woman, by saying that she is a temporary chief minister. So it is for them to answer who is going to lead their team. If the leader is legally unable and the current chief minister is temporary, so this is, they are trying to change the narrative, but the truth is they don't have a face. Our situation is very different. At the national level, we have hugely popular leadership. At the state level, we have developed our leaders from our karyakartas and through collective leaderships. So let me explain. In the last 10 years, we have won, the majority of states. And in recent 12 months, I have given you the examples of all these states like Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Maharashtra. Now, we have won these with collective leadership at the state level. And so that formula works. So in trying to question that, the APDA is basically trying to distract attention away from its failures of the roads, of the water, of not cleaning the Yamuna, and so on and so forth.
So BJP has promised a lot in the Sankalp Patra. So are women voters the key to any elections now in the country?
We have only announced 7 of our more than 100 commitments that we will announce. Now, if you look at our track record, first of all, it's very important, because before Prime Minister Modi established this trend, all other parties used to treat their manifesto, their Sankalp Patra, as just a formality. Now, after elections, even the parties themselves could not tell you what the Sankalp Patra, or they didn't used to call it Sankalp Patra. We do. The manifesto included. Media never used to ask them what happened to your promises. Now, if you look at our track record under Prime Minister Modi in the last 10 years, at the central level, we have implemented more than 99% of all the promises that we included in our Sankalp Patra. It's on the record, you can verify. Let's take a look at Odisha, which we just won 7 months ago. More than 70% of the promises have already been implemented. Now, women have always formed a very big part of the Bharatiya Janata Party's focus, because half the population, the Prime Minister himself has focused right from the beginning on the development of women and women's rights, from the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Abhiyan, Yojana, to the initiatives to tackle malnutrition, which often affects baby girls much more disproportionately, to many other instances. So when it comes to the Sankalp that we have done to provide DBT, financial assistance to poor women in Delhi, or assistance to pregnant women, or assistance to women in the kitchen by way of fiscal assistance for their cooking gas. Now, these are things that we have already done. We have some of these promises we have announced and implemented in Chhattisgarh, announced and implemented in Odisha, announced and implemented in other states. Whereas the APTA has been exposed, because 3 years ago, they announced a similar financial assistance for women in Punjab, and they have cheated them. They have not done it. 3 years ago, they announced a similar financial package for women in Delhi. They cheated the women of Delhi. They're not doing it. They had 10 years to do it in Delhi. They don't do it. So, of course, women matter. Women are very important. We've always treated them seriously and taken care of them. I think the women themselves are beginning to figure out the difference between genuine promises and fake promises.
So how do you think BJP plans to counter popularity of AAP's 2 scheme, free electricity and water they provide in Delhi?
Let me explain. One of the propaganda that APDA has been trying to spread is that when BJP gets elected, they will do away with whatever schemes that are going on in Delhi. The Prime Minister himself, the Home Minister, our National President, JP Nadda, they have all clarified extensively and explicitly that none of the Garib Kalyan Yojanas, none of the benefits to the poor in Delhi are going to get stopped. There is a difference. You see, we ourselves run many welfare programs. So the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, which is the food assistance program, is the world's largest. It assists 800 million people with rations. Similarly, the Ayushman Bharat is the world's largest health program. There is a difference. The difference is whatever we commit, we first budget for it with very reasonable fiscal estimates that the budget can handle. Now, and we implement it. Whereas what APTA has done, they have irresponsibly run institutions into the ground. I gave the example of Delhi Jal Board, where there has been a scam worth thousands of crores. They have done the same thing. They have promised free transport in DTC. But DTC, because they have run it into the ground, it is in a financial mess. It has only 1/3 of the buses that it needs to have. And so it's a theoretical exercise because majority of women are not able to take advantage of that since there aren't adequate buses. So three things that we do, that BJP does, and Prime Minister Modi insists on, that we are fiscally responsible. Number two, we don't promise without vetting it thoroughly. We vet it extensively. That's why we take a little bit more time than others to make our commitments. And when we promise, we implement. I've given you the track record. And fourth and most important, we deliver it corruption-free. We have set that example right from the Prime Minister's first year in office with DBT and the JAM trilogy. And state after state after state after state, we have weeded out corruption in delivering these services. So the Union government has announced many schemes, such as rooftop solar. So it's a win-win solution. It is both fiscally responsible, it creates more electricity, it provides the poor with free energy. Also, it gives them an income stream from the excess electricity generated from their rooftops. So we have many innovative schemes, and we will meet these standards.
So when BJP leaders are assuring the public that we will continue with the social welfare schemes, so Mr. Kejriwal claims that it is stamped on his model of governance.
No, nobody wants to copy his model of corruption. Nobody wants to copy his model where he says water is free, but they steal thousands of crores from the Delhi Jal Board, they make it defunct, and they give this horrible water. Anybody in Delhi, please ask them to try and drink the tap water, they will die. Nobody wants to copy his model. Nobody wants to copy his model of saying free transport in DTC and have only 1/3 of the buses. We are committing that, DTC will be properly equipped with a full number of buses. No one wants to copy his model of scamming the people of Delhi of 2,000 crores as per CAG report and going to jail for months and months and months because of prima facie evidence. Nobody wants to copy that. Nobody wants to copy his model of promising on his children that he will live in a 2-bedroom flat and then builds this sheesh mahal with gold-plated basins and toilets worth millions of rupees, upholstery worth crores of rupees, 70, 80 high-end audio-visual systems. Nobody wants to copy that model. He's very, very mistaken. And people of Delhi definitely want to throw out that model.
Now, as BJP has also promised certain SOPs, so does it mean that Prime Minister Modi's campaign on the everybody's of freebies now over, the debate is over on freebies?
Let me reiterate what I just said. The difference is, India is a large country. It does need welfare programs. Our welfare programs, let me repeat, are fiscally responsible. They do not bankrupt the state. Number two, they are corruption-free. Number two, they are win-win, such as the rooftop solar. Now, here, if you just, these people, the APTA have promised free electricity, but you will see thousands of people get bills. They're stuck with bills now. And on top of that, some 26,000 crore rupees is unpaid dues to the discos, to the suppliers of electricity. Now, the difference is this. We have to provide welfare schemes because we are a developing nation. But the welfare schemes have to be fiscally responsible. They have to be corruption free. They have to deliver to every last person and not just a tokenism. This is the essential difference. So APDA's model, they have kept repeating the same fake promises and got away with it for 3 elections. But there's an old saying, you can fool some of the people all the time. You can fool all the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And this time their time is up.
So pollution in Delhi is a recurrent malady which impacts the people. So does BJP has a solution to that?
Of course. In fact, in BJP governed states, you will find some of the cleanest cities in India. I can give you the list, but you can check it up. The reality is, while APDA has promised, I'll give you 2 examples of something related to pollution. Every year, they keep promising they will clean the Yamuna. And, repeatedly, he has said that he will take a dip in the Yamuna, which is a fake promise. He has repeatedly said that if he doesn't clean the Yamuna, first he said if he doesn't clean it by 2015, don't vote for him, he said. He said if he doesn't clean it by 2020, don't vote for him. Now 2025 has come upon us, so he hasn't done it. Now regarding pollution, for APDA, it is galling, it is appalling. They have not given funding to the Delhi State Pollution Board. And they are claiming that pollution is not getting, it's ridiculous. So basically, their whole approach has been conflict rather than governance. They have not taken thousands of crores worth of Modi government funds. I'll give you 2 examples. Ayushman Bharat. Lakhs of people, I think something like 51 lakh people in Delhi are deprived from this free medical insurance of which we are now committing 10 lakhs. That is because he thinks Modi ji will get some popularity by delivering that system here. Only 2 states in the whole country are not taking advantage of it, West Bengal and Delhi. The reality is even states governed by non-BJP parties are not being so cussed. They are taking advantage of the Ayushman Bharat program, Modi government program, using the thousands of crores of rupees to benefit the citizens in their state. Now, this is their attitude. Similarly, there is a scheme called Abhim, where something like 70,000 crores is available from the central government for developing infrastructure in Delhi, for medical infrastructure, for other infrastructure. They have not drawn it. The High Court has given them strictures on this. Their whole model is to try the blame game and play the victim game and try to fool people with fake promises. That game is over now.
So what is your strategy in winning the trust of Delhi voters, especially in the slum areas, which has been AAP's stronghold?
That's a very good question, actually. You're right. Because of these so-called freebies that APDA has given, and I've told you, they've won 3 elections on that, but now they have been caught. Again, let me repeat, people in the slums who are, they're economically from the lower strata, when they have to buy water for drinking, because they can't drink the water supply by Delhi Jal Board, they have real anger, because from their limited disposable income, if they have to buy basics such as water, then that anger is very palpable. Now, yes, in the last 10 years, these fake promises have been used to manipulate their vote. But for many months now, more than 6 months now, the BJP's Karyakartas, including its top leaders, including all MPs, MLAs, state-level leaders, have been going to the Juggi and Jhopri clusters every week. Every Sunday, religiously, been going and interacting. And if you see the conditions in which they have been duped by the APDA people, it's very pathetic. Now, we have won their confidence. They are now believing that the BJP means what it says. It has delivered in other states what we have committed. This time, you're going to see a very significant difference in this category of voters who have had it with the APDA. And they've all decided that, they've tried Congress for 15 years. They've been stuck with this APDA disaster for 10 years. I think they're coming to the conclusion that it's time to give BJP a chance.
Coming specifically to 2 areas where our government talks about is success is the education and healthcare. So BJP.
You know, it's very sad. How can you call healthcare a success when you have not drawn thousands of crores of rupees given by the Modi government for providing health insurance to your people? How can you call healthcare a success when, if you look at the so-called mohalla clinics, you know, they were not used for treating COVID. In fact, during COVID, the APDA leader was busy doing the scams, liquor scam of 2,000 crores and building his own sheesh mahal. If you look at the schools, they have tried to create a propaganda that by remodeling one school, they tried to pretend as if all of Delhi. Very few people actually know that many dozens of schools have actually been closed down during the last 10 years. If you look at the actual success rate of education, it's a propaganda. They spend a lot on advertising. They spend a lot of time convincing people. You'll see the APDA people spend, a state like Delhi spends much more on advertising than bigger states only in the last 10 years under APDA, not earlier. Because their whole idea is to try and convince people with propaganda rather than with reality. Whereas if you look at the BJP, we have made it very clear, not only will we bring about all these schemes that are available from the union government, we will run conflict-free governance here. In combination, the double engine Sarkar means in combination with the Urban Development Ministry, with the DDA, with the Delhi government and with MCD, conflict-free governance. Instead of giving excuses and reasons to fight every day, we will implement, we will have OPD services for people. Now, every senior citizen, irrespective of whichever category of society they are from, will also get Ayushman Bharat, will get OPD services, outpatient services. You will see a dramatic turn. We are also committing to revamp education with a special focus on the underprivileged, and you will see all this happen. All of these we are going to implement, pass in the very first cabinet resolutions once the government is formed. Whereas these people have had 10 years, they keep promising, they've never passed any of these resolutions.
So one criticism which comes at BJP way that it's not done enough to address inflation and rising living costs. So how do you address that charge?
Look at the larger picture. The Modi government inherited a disaster in 2014. The previous UPA government had inherited in 2004 from Atal Bihari Vajpayee an Indian economy which was high growth, low inflation, and in 10 years they inverted it. And in 2014, we had low growth and high inflation. Now, if you look at the last 10 years, it has again been inverted back to a virtuous cycle. India continues to be the highest growing, the fastest growing large economy now for many years under Prime Minister Modi. And inflation has been very tempered compared to other major economies, whether you compare it with European, US and other developing nations. See, there has been a global shift, due to the pandemic, which was a few years ago, but secondly, due to wars in Europe and the Middle East, you've had a pressure on energy prices. Now, this has affected countries all over the world, and India too is dependent on foreign energy, imports of petroleum products. Considering that, India has done a very credible job, very creditable job of containing inflation far better than other nations. Also, the Modi government has made major investments so that over the course of the next 20-25 years, as we get to Viksit Bharat in the 100th year of independence, we will go towards energy independence, energy security, because we have made the most massive investments in solar and renewable energy to provide ourselves that energy security. Now, if you look at job creation, India has done phenomenally well compared to the economic pressures which have caused job drops in the rest of the world. India has done very well in the startup economy. Many young people today have become job creators rather than job seekers. So in the context of all this, India is well poised. Now, Delhi, I'll give you an example. When you talk about inflation in Delhi, public transport has collapsed. Because again, I'll repeat, DTC has only 1/3 of the buses it needs, despite these APDA people being there for 10 years. Now, if you don't have adequate and good quality public transport, inflation will be there because people have to invest in scooters, motorcycles, cars. There's no alternative. And so their cost of living goes up. Now, if you provide dirty water so that people have to buy drinking water, even poor people, obviously there'll be inflation. Now, if as a result of your freebie policy, you charge 18 rupees per unit for electricity to commercial your industries, whereas other states, nearby states are giving it at 8 rupees, then obviously those units will shut down. You will not create jobs. It will obviously lead to more inflation. So, these all will change under a BJP government. If you look at economic management under the Modi government in India, and if you look at economic management in states which are run by BJP governments, you'll see that they're far better run than other states.
So the persistent concern in Delhi has been policing, law and order. So both of them are under these central government. So how will BJP, if voted to power, will address that? Will something change for Delhi?
Of course it will change. Look, you know, this is again a fake narrative run by APDA to try to distract attention. You know, how many APDA leaders have been arrested, not just for corruption, but for gangsterism. One of their very prominent MLAs is in jail, not getting bail, charged under MCOCA. Now, this is a guy whose many channels have covered it. Just like these so-called dons in other countries, he calls up and extorts money from people. Now, many of their leaders are involved in different kinds of illegal activities, not just financial irregularities, but these kind of gangsterism and hooliganism. Now, they can try to shift the blame, but it's not that simple, because if your leaders, your ministers, you know, who are they associating with? They are associating with liquor mafia. Will there not be crime? You know, they are associating with all these open gangsters extorting money. Will there not be crime? So, this conflict-free governance will come in with the BJP government in Delhi, where the state government and the union government will work hand in hand. See, the police are there to control crime, but you know, it's like a boat. If the boat is filling up with water and you're taking out the water, should you not first fix the holes? Because no matter how much water you can take out of the boat, if more water is coming in, similarly, the police can tackle crime. But if those who are running the state are involved in crime, then always the quantum of crime will outrun the ability to control the crime. So you have to stop the crime at the source, which is that you have to clean up the Delhi government from corruption and criminal elements. Look, I want to point something out here. These APDA people used to go around tom-tomming themselves as Kattar Imandar. Okay? Now, I dare them to say it again. I challenge you, if your publication refers to them as Kattar Imandar, people will not only sneer at it, they will make very vicious remarks. They don't dare to say it anymore because they know that their truth has been exposed. So that cleanup has to happen and crime will be cleaned up.
The general feeling that if Congress doing well will actually help the BJP.
See, Congress can never help the BJP. The Congress is on its own trajectory. It has a very different view of the nation and what political parties are supposed to do than the BJP. The Congress's leader has just now made a statement that he is not just working against BJP, he is working against the state of India. So they are in a different cup of tea altogether. But look, they are in a battle for survival because they have lost ground in many parts of India. In a few states, they remain as a player, maybe a third or a fourth or a fifth player. In Delhi, they have experimented with coalitions and alliances. In fact, in the Lok Sabha election, they allied officially with the APDA and still they lost to us. Now, whether they officially ally or they don't, they are the same type of approach. And they'll probably work together to try to, their own whole game seems to be how to stop BJP, not how to develop Delhi or how to, but that people have had enough. People have tried the Congress, people have tried the APDA. Now they are clearly in a mood that they must give a chance to BJP.
So you talk about double engine, that's what BJP also talks about. So how will the lives of people will change in Delhi if, say, BJP is elected to power?
That's a great question. So the everyday conflict that APDA, every day APDA comes up with a new excuse, with a new reason to disrupt, not taking funds from the central government where they think popularity will go to Modi ji. Modi ji doesn't need more popularity, he's already the world's most popular leader. So how it will change is, it will be conflict-free governance. So there will be no blame game. We will not be constantly blaming others and not doing our job as, after forming the government in Delhi. We will not be just constantly blaming other surrounding states and not doing our job. So blame game will be over. Constant looking for reasons to quarrel will be over. And certainly we will not do what they have done by not taking the funds of the central government. Tens of thousands of crores of rupees are on offer from Modi ji, from the Modi government. These people are just not taking it. We will take it, we will implement it, we will develop infrastructure in Delhi, we will create jobs in Delhi, we will address the concerns of the poor through financial support schemes which we have announced, and the full manifesto Sankalp Patra is yet to be announced, which we will do, and we will deliver all of them.